What's good, besties? It's me, Indica. It's been a minute. Sorry I've been missing in action. What am I gonna talk about today? First off, I'm really shy right now. I guess that's what happens when you take like 3-month breaks or like a month break. But it wasn't intentional. It was just kind of like days go by and they kind of submerge into one, you know? And sometimes I feel like I get caught up in my own emotions and I let that sway me for a period of time. And I don't think there's a wrong. I think like that's a good, because it's important to like sit with your emotions and feel them. But there's also a dangerous aspect of that, because then you can stay in that emotion for too long and then it feels like it's all that it is, it consumes you and it feels like, oh, there's no other way but this way. And this is all that my life is summed up to, this pain and this chaos and this, unfortunate terms of events. And my voice is kind of shaky because, like, honestly, that's me just speaking what I've been feeling. And things happen. And seasons come and go, and it's kind of like, can be hard to always be so collected, like always calm and collective is not always ideal sometimes in certain situations. Because certain situations require a little more fire from you, like, you gotta be a little more feisty, you gotta be a little more assertive. And that doesn't mean that you can't be calm. It doesn't mean that you're not feminine if you are a woman watching me, or feminine energy. It's just like, there's different aspects of people, and it's okay to, not be just one thing. Because I think sometimes people in, like, I guess the holistic community, sorry you guys are shaking, I have you like balanced on some blankets and I'm like moving around. I feel like if you're like a healer and you're in the realm of like holistic psychology, people at times they can get wrapped up in like the ego aspects, where like people are kind of putting on a show and be like, yo, like I'm this and that and I got this and that and I'm so enlightened and like these things and so on. And all power to you. It's good to own who you are and be confident in who you are. But to, I guess, when you shame someone for being maybe not those things and having a period of time where they're just kind of like figuring it out, that's a problem. Like, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. And I think I'm more so talking about the toxic aspect of what that could be, when people just put on a front and show like their best version of themselves, which in reality that's not always true. Like, there's different parts of us. Maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about, like I'm just speaking what I feel. And like the fact that you guys are shaking while I'm talking, I'm so sorry. Like it's making me a little irritated, but that's okay. But yeah, I feel like, not everybody, of course, I'm in like the holistic community, like I be about that shit. I know there's people that like own who they are in every single season. And like, it's also okay to not feel like you want to own that part of you, because maybe you feel shame in certain areas. Like maybe you did something wrong, like you hurt somebody else and you're like, yo, like I'm not gonna own that I did this. There's different scenarios and the situations. It all really depends, but yeah. I feel like also sometimes women, they feel pressures from society to, present themselves a certain way. And, you always have to be this. You always have to be soft-spoken. You always have to be calm. You always have to be, like, you always have to dress a certain way, but not, look feminine, but don't show off too much because then you're a whore. Or this and that. And I feel like, our society is kind of straying away from that, like certain parts of us. But it is still there. Like, it's, like, undeniable. And that's unfair because there's nothing wrong with the human body. There's nothing wrong with, like, expressing yourself a certain way. And it doesn't have to fit these categories. It doesn't have to fit society's standards or, go within the lines. Sometimes you gotta color outside of the lines to do your own thing and create a new pattern, create a new color wave. And not everyone is going to like that, and that's fine. It's not about pleasing every single person on this planet, because at the end of the day, like, when you go, you take you with you. You don't take these material things around you. I mean, as far as I know, I think there is a currency that you take with you, like wealth-wise, and you can pass that down from generations. And there's generational wealth and stuff like that, but I don't have all the answers, so I don't really know. I think there is definitely a standard of what women should be and how women should act. And I think sometimes people forget, like, being feminine, there's a rage, there's rage in that. Rage is femininity at the same time as softness is. Like, I could be very soft and very graceful and I'm still feminine. I could be very, hurt. I could be very fiery. I could be really angry. And I could have a lot of passion behind my words when I speak and still be feminine. I'm not masculine now that I'm acting in that energy. I'm still feminine, and then, I don't know, dude. Like, this world is, I don't know what to make of it sometimes. There's just so much to dissect. And also not, like, there's certain things where it's just kind of like, yeah, this is what it is, and move forward. There's other things that, you should question. And there's things that you can't control. And there's also things that you can, and I feel like a lot of us may not think we can control a lot when we can, because this is our reality, like, we're creating everything that we see around us. And I think one of the worst things you could probably do is be silent. There are moments where you shouldn't speak, and there's moments where you should. And, one of those moments will obviously be, like, when there is, like, serious chaos going on in the world, like, you gotta pick a side. You can't be neutral. You gotta pick a side. You gotta help people, right? In whatever way that you can. And, there's other times where you can be quiet, and there's certain, everything is very specific and, like, depends on, like, the scenario and stuff, but I'm sure whoever this is reaching out to will see this and understand what I mean, and maybe not. It is what it is. But yeah, there's just there's a lot going on inside my head, and there's a lot going on outside of me as well. And I think it's really important to not only look at that, what's going on inside, but also look out for things around you, because you're not the only one living this life, There's other people around you in this world, this society, and there are connections to be made, and you meet everybody for a reason. Yeah, I think I really like just kind of recording and speaking and not really having a direction sometimes. There'll be times where I'll like write things down, and like if you've been a subscriber for a long time, you've seen that. You know, there are times where like you just kind of have to jump in and move in fear, even though it wants to pull you back. When you're scared, I think that's the best time to do something. When you don't want to do it, that's the best time to do something. And I think I really, because I'm speaking about myself, and I'm also speaking about things that I've seen, so just based off of experience, all of my words. This is just my words based off of experience, and really just thinking, right? There's just so much, I feel like there's just so much to do, you know, every day. Like, I feel like, because I got so much going on in my head, it can be hard to do them, or it feels hard to do them, because it's like, oh my god, like, this is super overwhelming, you know, like, and then you feel things around you, like, if you're super empathetic, or if you have some type of clairvoyancy, or you just, you know, you have gifts, like, everybody's born with gifts, and, you know, certain people have heightened senses than others, and, you know, you feel things deeper, like, than someone else would, and I feel like it can be hard to kind of process those things, because it's like, oh my god, like, this is a lot, you know, like, I'm taking on a lot, but it's not impossible. And I think moments of just letting yourself sit and be in your own energy, or just moments where you just like talk, or you write it down, those moments are so crucial and key to sanity, honestly. And I'm realizing that more so in times of division from myself, like self-talk, like certain self-talk, or certain words that you kind of let in your head. You allow these things to change you. You can allow these things to change you, and you can also, you know, create habits within yourself to kind of create like a force field, or like, what is it called when it reminds me of that saying, like, the saying about glue, like, whatever you say sticks back on you, like, something like that. Like, you know, you're so, basically what I'm saying is, you're so secure in yourself that whatever is going on around you, whatever talk, whatever noise, it can't touch you, because you're so secure, right? And you're so secure because you built those habits, you built those times, you made those times for silence. You made those times for self-care. You made those times for reflection. You made those times for apologizing to yourself, apologizing to others. You made those times for accountability. And that's why things are so solid within you, because you're not running away from the truth. You are the truth. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening.